Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk. I'm Heidi Smith. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in the United Kingdom. That's the usual spiel over and done with. Today I'm working with Cheerful Daisies and the DSP to create a gift card holder. Now, this is the DSP. It's 12 by 12 sheets. I'll show you what the 5 of the designs are like. So you've got these really big bright daisies on one side and the more muted ones on the reverse. And then you have a 6th sheet, which is a cut apart sheet, which you can, this is one of the panels. So they're kind of ready-made panels for you to use in your card making. This is another one. If you have a look here on the catalogue, I've got a cut apart sheet somewhere and I've misplaced it. It's here somewhere in the debris, but anyway, so you've got these various panels. So I thought actually sometimes, when we do a fun fold, if you haven't, you might say, well, I haven't got that exact piece, I've already used it. So I thought I would do a fun fold that would then use another one of these pieces, and this is what I came up with. And it's kind of a bit of a suspension fold, but as I say, it's got a gift card holder in the back. So it's a double front, double flap card with a gift card holder. I'm actually not super happy with the colours on this at the end. I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm not sure about that. But I thought, well, I'll share it with you anyway, because sometimes we do things and kind of go, actually, that, not everything I do is perfect. So this was the one that I struggled most with the wild wheat colour. It's a lovely colour, but I don't think it looked, for me, quite right with the moody mauve. But hey, I did it, so let's get on with it. So I am going to use some of my favourite now though. So I'm now going to use this panel, which has got bubble bath in it and some garden green, and I'm going to pair that with the moody mauve, and I think that's going to work much better, I hope. Let's see, shall we? So this is one of the panels. This is the reverse of the panel. You can see this lovely brushed moody mauve. So I kind of went, okay, that gives me a good clue. And then Cheerful Daisies, it is 2-step stamp set, photopolymer, and as you can see here, we've got lovely dies that create layered flowers. We've got 2-step stamping here, some sentiments, and as you know, this is my little stash of extras for when I need to make an emergency card quickly. But you've got not only the dies to cut out the flowers, and that's these outline ones which we're going to use. So these ones cut out the flowers, and then this one cuts out that big detailed flower. So that's the middle layer I've used here, so it cuts those apertures. But what happens is these single ones actually can create a layer behind these, and you can use the detailed ones to add that detail to the middle to really make them pop. So that's that layer here. So there's 3 layers. So I've got white, moody mauve and bubble bath, and I thought, actually, do you know what, I'm going to use just a couple of layers, 2 colours on this next one. So I'm going to I think I might go pink, white, pink, so the pink stands out more against the white background. So that's what I'm going to do. So here's the other die I'm going to need. I'm going to need that stem, and I'm going to need my twiggy branch kind of stuff. So okay, so as I said, I'm going to do sort of pink, white, pink. So pink is going to be my outline. Now that doesn't need to be cut on double-sided sheet. You can just cut it, there's plenty of space there to add your glue. Likewise this one, lots of space here to cut out to add glue once you've die cut. These ones are fine and detailed. That I'm going to cut out on some card that's backed with multi-purpose adhesive sheet, as is that one. Because although I've used it, well, you can see I've used it here, and in places it's free, but other places it's stuck down, and it is just quite difficult to kind of get some adhesive in there sometimes. So if you're going off the edge, then you want to make sure that you haven't used double-sided sheet. If you're going to keep it within the confines, then use your double-sided sheet. So if you accidentally go off the edge, then just trim those bits away so you don't gum up your cardstock. So that's what we're going to do. So we'll get started by stamping that back panel. So for this card, my back panel is going to be the same size as my sheet. So whichever sheet you choose, cut a piece of basic white that is the same or slightly smaller than it. You're going to want a piece again to back the front, so you want a piece of bubble bath in this case that backs the front of that, and then my card base and my strip to go on the front I'm going to use as well. Then you're going to need, I will put all the dimensions below the video. I've got a piece of bubble bath and a piece of basic white, and then I've got a piece of card that I'm going to use for my little flap to add my gift card. So I think that's it. Okay. So, oh yes, I know, and I'm going to, yes, I want one more piece, which is my backing piece. So you can see here, I've actually got a layer. So we're going to have a little layer showing, and that just helps make it a little bit more sturdy as well. And by adding weight to the back, it balances out your card. So, all the bits. So let's do some die cutting first. So I'm going to use some garden green. So I'm going to die cut my stem and my frond from garden green. As I said, we're going to go pink, white, pink. So I'm going to cut my solid shapes out of some just ordinary bubble bath. This one I'm going to cut out of just some basic white, and then yeah, let's get going. So I'm going to go and do some, so this is going to be out of pink, this is going to be out of basic white, so basic white, and then these scraps are going to be out of my pink, which has got my double-sided adhesive sheet on. So there we go. So I'm going to go and do some die cutting, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so there we go. So we've got our large pink. I'm going to pop my dies away as we go along. I've shared this before, but I stick some adhesive, I stick some magnetic sheet onto the inside of my stamp case. Most of my die sets will work like that, and then I outline them with a chalk marker or with a silver or bronze or whatever colour Sharpie I happen to have that will show up. So here's my pink, there's my white. Throw my scraps away. Here's my pink layer again. And I go again, just take your pick tool to pop those out, or a pokey tool, whichever you've got to hand, or if you're stuck, just use the end of your scissors. Okay, and then I just layer those in, and it just means that I do kind of, it usually means I avoid losing them. I have got a little magnetic dish next to me that I put them in as well sometimes. But I'm kind of finding that, you know what, I just need to put them away once I've used them, because that just means I haven't lost any since I've been doing that. So that's got to be good. So pop those in there, pop my stamps away. And then this bit, I've still got spare on there, so I keep that in with my my multi-purpose adhesive sheets. You'll see here. And I just pop any scraps I've got left over in there. So when I go to use it, I check through these first. And if I haven't got any, I'll put some fresh. But in the meantime, often I'll find I've got a piece in there that I can just use straight away. Okay, so to create our flower. Now, in that card, the first card, I didn't use the whole flower, you'll see. So I cut that away. So you know, you can keep it if you want, but I certainly don't want the leaf. So I'm going to get rid of that. Any scraps. I'm just going to use, this is, there is an attachment for your pokey tool. If you take your pick tool, that will do this as well. Well worth getting. I happen to have a separate brush, which I find works well for me, because I'm too lazy to change the tips on my take your pick. Yeah, There we go. There's the reality of it. So I'm thinking, is that going to work? It might work actually with a third one on as well. So let's do them. So those are my 3 flowers. I'm going to add some adhesive to the back here. Don't have to go overboard, because what you don't want is for it to squidge out. So just, squeeze gently the little bit of adhesive. You don't have to do every petal. So just come in and add the layers behind. And you'll see there is an orientation. So you might want to practice first, get your orientation right and put them back down on your desk with that orientation. That would have been sensible. But I've got bigger petals on the top and some shorter ones on the bottom. So by just hovering over, I can then see those. There we go. So those are my flowers. So now I can add my detailed layers onto those. So the adhesive sheets, they're just like dimensionals. You can just, with these ones, you can just peel them off quite easily. And then just pop those over the top there. Silence while I concentrate. Do you prefer silence while you craft, or do you like to have something on in the background? I do a bit of both. I think it depends. Often I'll have some, I'll often put some easy listening music on in the background. I have to say, old school. I've got a CD player because I found a load of CDs and I was like, oh, I really like these. And it's so much easier to just stick a CD on. So I do like a film soundtrack or musicals, or these days it's film soundtracks of musicals. So there we go. Let's pop that. There we go. So as you can see, you can just layer that on there. So there we've got my flower. There we've got my leaves and a stem. So I think we are good to go. So now we can do our stamping. So as I said, that's going to be for this panel here. This panel is going to be layered onto that. Have some lovely sort of fronds going in there. I might not even use the stem on that, to be honest. That doesn't need any stamping, but this piece does. So as I said, with the previous one, I'm going to add my Moody Mauve flowers. Let me just make sure I've got that in the right orientation. Yeah, that's fine. It isn't, so just double check. So I'm going to add just 3 flowers there. So that's my Moody Mauve ink. That's an in colour at the moment. That means it's only around for 2 years. So if you like it, get it now, or if you want it to coordinate. And then I'm using Bubble Baths. That's one of our new colours, which is so super pretty. A lot of people have been saying for a long time, we need a proper pink. And now we have a proper pink. There's my leaf. So I'm going to grab my garden green. And I'm actually going to use my garden green for the centres and for the stems as well. So I just want to take my, you can see I haven't got my, I'm going to get my little one out, and I've got my leaf as well. So let's do stems first. I might not bother with the stem for that top one, it's just going to float in midair, because what I'm going to do is pop some leaves in here. Pop a leaf in the bottom corner there. I'm going to just grab so these are, I think, Susan's, Black Eye Susan's, something like that. Just going to pop a couple of leaves up here as well. Okay, so there it is. Or echinaceas. They could easily be echinaceas, couldn't they? Okay, right. Stop the chat. Okay. So now let's get on with our scoring while that is drying off, so that we can then create our card. So scoring is really easy. So you want a piece of card that is, I've made it for ease 14.5 by 10.5. So mine's a little bit shorter, but yeah, 14.5. It isn't by 10.5. Sorry, my card base is 14.5 by 10.5. That's my base. Then I've got my next piece, which is 14.5 by 16.5. And I'm just going to score that very simply at 10 centimetres. By 12 and at 14. So really simple scoring. Okay, so that's my next piece. So that's the concertina part. This piece here, just for those of you, so this is, so it's about 4 inches, so 10 centimetres by 10 centimetres, and that's the same in the bubble bath. This piece for the little flap is 8 centimetres, so probably 3 1/4 it'll be, by 10.5, so 4 1/8 centimetres, inches even, and then the layer, so just slightly smaller, so that's 7.5 by 10.5. 10.5, yes, did I say 10.5? No, by 10 even. And then this little strip is just 3 centimetres by whatever the length of your gift card holder is, so 10.5. Okay, so first things first is to burnish this. So we're going to grab our bone folder and first of all burnish them just by folding where you scored, like so. Then we concertina. So you're just going to take that second score line and do a valley fold, so in the opposite direction. So you'll have a nice... So all I need to do now is add my strip of Moody Mauve and line it up with my backing concertina piece. Add some adhesive to the edge here and close that up. Now, if yours overlaps slightly, just come in with some scissors and adhere it afterwards. And then now we can come in with my piece of bubble bath for the inside and add that as well. So I'm just going to add my adhesive all the way around here, and what that does is what obviously would be quite flimsy being just DSP on the front now is going to be nice and reinforced and secure. Now that overlaps slightly, it overhangs, but that's fine. Once that is dried out, then all I'm going to do is come in with my scissors and just trim along that edge. And then it means it's nice and flush. If you wanted to, do it on your trimmer first if you're worried, or you might want a border, up to you entirely. So we're nearly there now. What I've got now is this piece here, which is going to be our gift card holder. So I'm going to pop that onto the panel here. Then, if you remember on our card, you'll see that on the reverse we've got our little strip as well. So this goes on the front, lined up or centred to that left hand panel. So whichever panel you're using, just centre that so that it, so if it's slightly bigger, which mine is, that's fine. Just leave it so that it overhangs slightly. And you could always use a contrast card if you wanted to give a little bit of a border. On the reverse, we're going to use our card, and then just use any punch you've got. I've just grabbed the first one that came to hand, which is my decorative circle, And I'm just putting it a little bit into, kind of eyeballing it so it's in the middle, and then just punch. And then add some adhesive just round the 3 edges. Now you might prefer to use a tape adhesive. So I use this the fine red tape. It comes in various widths. I find that works quite well because that actually gives it a little bit of a lift, so there's space for your gift card as well. And I deliberately put my gift card holder so that it kind of faced inwards, so it's less likely to fall out. So just pop that in like so. So just burnish that down. Remove tape, backing tape, like so. And what I tend to do is grab a gift card and pop it in place so that if I need to lift it up slightly, to make sure it fits, it will. There you go, like so. There you go, and that just slides in there. So now we can add our panel. So this is just our basic white panel that we're adding onto the front there. And then we can add our flowers. And I'm just going to make sure those are on the left hand edge within the card edge, because otherwise it's going to make it difficult for it to close. You can then add your leaves. As I said, you know, if you go over the edge, don't worry, just trim them away. Pop a leaf. If I can find my stem, which can't find the stem. That's too. If you saw the state of my desk, you wouldn't be surprised I couldn't find it. I end up with it like I start one project and I kind of go, oh, gives me an idea for another project, so I start that one and then another one. So because I can't find my my stem, I'm just going to add my leaf to the edge there. Right, I'm just going to trim that. There we go. I've just spotted my stem. There's my stem. Okay. Stem. Up under there. Then I can actually add some leaves. That's going to work quite well actually, because I'll add the leaves like so. There we go. And then another little bit of leaf, like so. And then all that remains is for this final panel to go on the back. And actually looking at that, I'm going to just take a tiny sliver off the edge there so that it fits. So I'm just lining it up with the outer edge of my crack to take a smidgen off. Is that an expression that people are familiar with? Is that an English? Is that a Midland expression? Could well be. Who knows? There we go. And then that just fits in there. So there we have our double front gift card holder. I'm much happier with the colours in that one, but let me know what you think. I think I'm just attracted to that one. I think it's just so much prettier. And there we go, little suspension card, gift card holder, ready to gift. Thanks for watching. Come back again soon. Please hit the subscribe button, give me a like if you've enjoyed it, drop me a comment, ask me a question, whichever. I do respond. You'll see I do respond to comments and questions, and it really is lovely when I hear from my audience. And if you're in the UK and you'd like to shop with me, just search for me as a demonstrator, Heidi Smith, and or use this month's host code, which is on my website at https://flutterbyheidi.co.uk. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.